Welcome back to the deep dive. Really excited about today. We're taking on, well, a truly unique journey, actually. Goes way back, thousands of years, but it feels surprisingly relevant now.
It really does.
We're diving into an ancient Buddhist text, the Nivāpasuttaṃ, sometimes called the Bait Sutta.
That's right.
And it's, well, it's rich, very metaphorical, gives you a lot to think about regarding, human nature, desire, that whole challenge.
Absolutely. And our mission, really, for this deep dive is to unpack this amazing analogy from the sutta. We want to explore its layers, understand what it's really teaching us about freedom, about how we engage with the world around us.
Okay.
And like you said, it's ancient, but the wisdom, you'll see, it's incredibly applicable to modern life. All the distractions, the temptations we face.
So the core of it is a story, almost like a fable, isn't it?
Exactly.
About a fowler, these 4 different groups of deer, and how they react to bait he leaves out. And this story becomes this powerful lesson about liberation. Okay, let's unpack this. Sounds fascinating. So where does this teaching happen? The setting?
It's pretty straightforward. The Buddha is talking to monks in Savatthi, which was, a major hub for the early Buddhist community.
Right.
And right away, the Buddha lays out the fowler's real intention, this Nivāpiko, the fowler. He's not putting out bait Nivāpat because he likes deer, not at all.
Oh.
His goal, his only goal, is for them to eat it, get intoxicated, muchi, become careless, pamada, and then easily controlled, completely at his mercy.
So that sets up the core conflict immediately. Bait isn't kindness, it's about control.
Precisely.
Okay, so the first group of deer, they seem predictable.
In a way, yes. They see the bait, they rush right over.
It's just dive in.
Gorge themselves on it, basically. And just like the fowler plan, they get totally intoxicated, careless.
And caught, just like that.
Swiftly caught. No chance of escape. Completely under his power.
What's striking there is just how unthinking it is.
Exactly. It's immediate, unreflective. There's no pause, just pure instinct, straight into the trap. It really shows how quickly unexamined desire can, bind us.
Okay. Then the second group, they see what happened, right? They observe group 1.
They do, and they try to learn from it. Their strategy is total avoidance.
Complete abstinence.
Right. They retreat, go deep into the wilderness, the Aranyatanani, trying to get away from the bait entirely.
But that doesn't work out either, does it?
No, and this is where it gets really interesting. It's a kind of cautionary tale, because the sutta says, in the dry season, the gemana apakime mase, when grass and water are scarce, tiyodakasakai, these deer get really weak, emaciated.
Yeah, physically wasting away.
Yes, adimatakasimana patokayo, they lose their strength, their energy, balavirya parihaye, and crucially, this physical weakness, it drives them right back to the bait.
Oh, wow. So the extreme avoidance actually leads them back.
Exactly. They end up eating it, getting intoxicated, careless, and caught, just like the first group.
Here's where it gets really interesting. It's not always about outright avoidance, is it?
Not at all. It shows how extremes, even well-intentioned ones, can be counterproductive, like bringing yourself out, trying too hard to be good or pure. Sustainability matters. An all-or-nothing approach often fails.
Makes sense. Okay, group 3. They're watching all this unfold. Groups 1 and 2 failed.
These ones are clever, or they think they are.
Right. Their strategy. Live near the bait. Don't avoid it completely.
But consume it carefully. Without intoxication or carelessness is the phrase. Ananyabakacha muchita.
They think this moderated, mindful approach will protect them.
They do. But the fowler adapts. He sees what's going on. He and his party realize these deer are cunning and powerful. Kepino idimentasu, not easily fooled.
So what does he do?
They change tactics. They bring out these huge nets, mahatihi danavagurahi, and they encircle the whole area. Their goal now is to find the dwelling place, the asaya, of these clever deer.
And they find it.
They do. They find their hiding spot, and even these clever deer get caught.
So even trying to be smart about it didn't work for them. Being careful wasn't enough. What does this tell us?
It suggests that just being, intellectually aware or trying to manage things carefully on the surface, it isn't foolproof. There's a deeper level of entanglement. Their cleverness might even become its own kind of trap, maybe.
Right.
A mental one.
Interesting. Okay, finally, the fourth group. They've seen all 3 failures.
Yes. And their strategy is genuinely different.
How so?
They decide to establish their dwelling, their base, somewhere the fowler and his party simply cannot reach. Yata agati navapikasa, beyond his range.
Okay, Out of reach. But do they eat the bait?
Yes, and this is crucial. They also consume the bait, but like the third group tried to do, they do it without intoxication or carelessness.
So the location is key.
Location, or perhaps state of being, is key, because the Fowler's reaction is completely different this time. He and his party search. They look everywhere, but they cannot find where this fourth group lives.
They're invisible to him, basically.
Effectively, yes. And they realize something important. They figure if we harass this group, if we somehow disturb them, all the other deer might get spooked and abandon the bait area entirely. It's not worth the risk.
So they just leave them alone.
They leave them alone. And this fourth group, they escape. They are free from the Fowler's power.
Wow. That's a true aha moment here. Finding a place or a way of being that's just beyond reach, not fighting, just inaccessible.
Precisely. And the sutta spells out the metaphors for us.
Okay, let's hear them.
The bait, the nivāpa, represents the five sense pleasures, paññākamisa kamagwana, and more broadly, just worldly baits or allurements, lokamisa.
Things that attract us, pull us in.
Exactly. The Fowler, the Nivāpiko, is Mara, the evil one. Mara sita papimato. He's symbolic of temptation, delusion, spiritual obstacles, even death in the Buddhist framework.
And his party.
Nivāpika per se. That's Mara's party. His influences, cohorts, the forces aligned with him.
And Vidir Migashata.
They represent ascetics and Brahmins, Samanta Brahman, basically spiritual seekers, people on a path.
Okay, so applying this back to the groups.
Right. The first group of ascetics, they just dive headfirst into sense pleasures, heedlessly. They get intoxicated, lose their mindfulness, and fall totally under Mara's influence, like chasing pleasure without thinking of the cost.
Got it. The second group.
They swing to the other extreme, severe asceticism, giving up everything worldly, enduring really harsh practices, eating leaves, roots, even dung it mentions sometimes.
Wow.
Yeah, but they get physically weak, emaciated. And this physical decline actually undermines their mental freedom, their citta vimutti. Their resolve weakens, they relapse, and fall back under Mara's power.
What's fascinating here is how extremes can be counterproductive on either side.
Exactly. It's a powerful warning against unsustainable practices, even those with noble aims. Burnout is real, spiritually too.
And the third group, the clever ones.
They try that middle path, living near pleasures but consuming carefully. Seems smart. But they get tangled up in wrong views, defika.
What are those exactly?
Things like getting attached to speculative ideas. Is the world eternal or not? Is the soul the same as the body or different? What happens to a Buddha after death? These intellectual debates, these fixed positions, they become their own kind of bondage. Even though they're being careful with sense pleasures, their minds are still caught, still under Mara's influence.
This raises an important question. Is intellectual mastery enough? Just figuring things out?
Apparently not, according to the sutta. Mental attachments, even to clever ideas, can still trap you.
Which leaves the fourth group, the ones who escape.
Yes. They find that place where Mara and his party cannot reach.
So what is that place? How do they get there?
The sutta explains this isn't a physical place, but profound states of meditative concentration, the jhānas. It's about transforming the mind's relationship to the world, not just physically escaping from it.
Ah, okay. An internal shift.
Profound internal shift. It starts with the first jhana, characterized by seclusion from senses and unwholesome states, but with thinking and examining, plus rapture and pleasure born of that seclusion. Reaching this state is said to blind Mara, strike at his foot, and make the practitioner disappear from the evil one's sight.
Wow. So meditation itself becomes the escape route.
It becomes the place Mara can't reach, and it progresses. Second jhana, beyond thought, internal tranquility, unification of mind, rapture and pleasure from concentration. Third jhana, letting go of even rapture, dwelling in equanimity, mindfulness, and a subtle bodily pleasure. Fourth jhana, abandoning pleasure and pain altogether, pure equanimity and mindfulness, neither pleasure nor pain.
Deeper and deeper levels of stillness.
Exactly, and then even beyond that, into the formless attainments. Infinite space, infinite consciousness, nothingness, neither perception nor non-perception. And the ultimate state described is the cessation of perception and feeling, total stillness. When that state is seen with wisdom, the text says the deep-seated defilements, the asava, are destroyed.
This is the ultimate escape, isn't it? It's not just avoiding temptation, but transforming your very state of being so profoundly.
That's the core idea. It's cultivating an inner refuge so stable that external forces, the bait, Mara himself, simply lose their power over you.
They can't even find you.
Right. Reaching these states means the practitioner has blinded Mara, struck at his foot, disappeared from him, and crossed the entanglement, the Visaddhikanti. You're free.
So if we boil it down, the main takeaway isn't run away from the world.
Not at all, nor is it just be smart about the world.
It seems to be about engaging, but with wisdom.
Yeah.
Mindfulness. A transformed inner state.
Precisely. Engaging mindfully with wisdom. Consuming the bait without getting intoxicated, without becoming careless, without getting caught in extreme avoidance or intellectual traps.
Okay.
So, if we connect this to the bigger picture for you listening, this deep dive shows that real freedom, lasting freedom, maybe isn't found in just fighting things off or avoiding them completely or even just understanding them intellectually. It's about cultivating a deep internal stability, a state of mind that lets you interact with all the world's bait, the pleasures, the challenges, the ideas, without getting hooked, without losing yourself.
Building that inner resilience.
Exactly. So you can navigate without getting caught in those nets.
It makes you think, what bait are you encountering in your daily life right now? Are you rushing in like the first group? Or maybe trying that extreme avoidance like the second, heading for burnout?
Or perhaps like the third group, getting caught up in analyzing it, thinking you've got it figured out, but maybe still tangled in your own thoughts.
Yeah, food for thought.
And maybe a final thought to leave you with. This sutta strongly suggests the greatest freedom isn't about defeating some external enemy, the fowler or the bait. It's about transforming your internal relationship to desire, to attraction, to aversion itself. So beyond just gathering knowledge, what might cultivating that kind of internal transformation look like in your own pursuit of understanding? Or maybe just finding some peace? How do you build that inner space Mara can't reach?
Something profound to reflect on there. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the Nivāpasuttaṃ. We really hope this exploration offers some valuable insights. We look forward to our next exploration together.